Right, P4, welcome back from lunch. We're just going to do a wee activity now to get us settled back into learning, all right? So now we're going to do some yoga. Can anyone tell me, hands up, what they think yoga might be? Anyone? Yeah?
Exercises?
Yep, yoga is a series of stretches and exercises that focus on your breathing as well. Now, the yoga that we're going to do today is very special because it's yoga that's based on animals. So we're going to do a pose just like that deer in the middle there. And the animal that it's based on is this one here. Can anyone tell me what animal they think that is? Hands up. Yeah?
An eagle?
An eagle, yeah. And what do you think it's doing? It's sitting. This eagle's got itself right to the top of a tree because eagles are what we call birds of prey, and that means that they have to hunt to get their food. So eagles have really good eyesight, and he's got himself really high so that he can look around the area around him, and he's balancing and concentrating really hard on finding a wee mouse for his dinner. This eagle is doing what we call the eagle pose in yoga. Now, has anyone ever seen any sort of animal look like that in their life? No. Because animals don't tend to stand like that. We call this the eagle pose because in order to keep your balance and stop from falling over when you're so twisty, you have to concentrate just as hard as that eagle is on finding his dinner and not falling off the tree. But today, our pose is going to be a little bit different. We're going to look like this little girl because we're doing it in our chairs. So, I'm going to show you. I want you to copy me as I go through the poses, all right? So, first things first, I'm going to show you what I call the start pose, okay? So I want our feet to be flat on the floor, and I want our hands to be flat on our knees. We need to sit up nice and straight. So imagine that you're a puppet and you've got a string attached to the top of your head and it's pulling you towards the ceiling, but make sure that your chin's not like that because then it'd be pulling you back off your chair. So we're nice and tall. This is our start pose. If I ask you to go back to this is how we are. Now, before we get into the eagle pose, we need to focus on our breathing. So in yoga, we breathe in through our nose, and when you breathe in, I want you to imagine there's a big balloon in your tummy, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then when we breathe out, I call these foggy breaths, because you know when you're in the car and you're trying to fog up the window, and you go to make it steam up? That's the noise that I want us to make when we breathe out. Okay, everyone all right with that? Okay, so the first step of the eagle pose in our chairs is to cross one leg over the other. It doesn't matter what leg, whatever one you want, okay? Next step is we're going to put our arms out in front of us, nice and straight. Now remember, we're sitting up nice and tall, and then we're going to point our hands towards the ceiling. Take the arm that's opposite the leg that you've got crossed, so mine's is this one, so it would be this arm, and twist it around the other one, okay? Now make sure that you're not all folded in. We need to stay nice and tall. And if everyone's comfortable with that, we're going to practice 3 of our breaths in this pose, okay? So deep breath in and out. Come on, I want to hear those breaths, right? In and out. You can do better than that. Come on, one more time. Great job, guys. Right, so who thinks that they would be able to go and show someone that pose at home? Good, right. We're going to test that. So we're going to play a game called Yogi Says. Who's ever played Simon Says? Hands up. Okay, this is similar. The rules are a wee bit different though. So you know in Simon Says, you get caught out if you do an instruction that Simon hasn't told you to do it. Well, in Yogi Says, Yogi's going to tell you to do everything, but you've only to do the poses that we've practiced there. So for example, if Yogi told you to touch your nose, you wouldn't do it. But if Yogi told you to put your hands out in front of you, that's one of the steps in the pose, so you would do it. Does that make sense? If you do something that isn't part of the eagle pose, then you have to return to the start position and practice your breathing for the rest of the exercise. Okay? So I'm going to have us standing up just to make it more interesting. Okay, so Yogi says, hands to the side. Right, so remember, start pose, nice and tall, and practice our breathing. Right, Yogi says, sit down. Okay, Yogi says, touch your nose. Yogi says, cross your legs. Yogi says, touch your shoulders. Good, you are good at this. Yogi says, hands out in front of you. Yogi says, touch your shoulders again. Right, start position, nice and tall, and we want our breaths. Yogi says, point to the ceiling. And Yogi says, touch your head. 2 there. Start position again, please. Right? We're here, okay. And Yogi says, cross your arms. Well done.